Hey guys, it's Bro You Whack, and it's the patch notes that we have been waiting for. Have your games been dominated by heroes like Roadhog and Orisa and Sojourn and possibly even a pocketed Sojourn? Well, all those heroes that you've been complaining about are finally getting nerfed in this update. With the exception of Mercy, we will talk about that later, but first, let's look at all the hero changes that just took place in the update literally today. And the first hero up is gonna be Orisa, and she got the simplest nerf to comprehend out of all these patch notes, and it's gonna be to her Fortify ability, where the health bonus that she receives decreased by 50 whole points. Originally got 125 points, now it's down to 75. Now my first thought when it comes to this Orisa nerf is that this is pretty healthy for her, because the biggest issue that players had when going against Orisa is that she just had way too much sustainability, not even just based on her Fortify alone, which is still the biggest problem, but it's also due to the fact that she has a javelin spin that deflects all incoming fire, given the exception of like a Zarya beam or a May freeze, but also from the fact that she's this big beefy tank with tons of armor points, so she was a pretty tough tank to kill. But on top of that, the Fortify health bonus that you got meant that she really wasn't going to be dying as long as her supports were just going to be pumping a bunch of heals into her, which they always did, especially on maps like Push, where she just completely dominated, especially in this Roadhog filled meta. So while you're still going to have the benefits of Orisa's powerful hero kit, whether it's the javelin spin or the javelin stun or the Fortify, still granting you the ability to have a health bonus, but on top of that, negating any critical headshot damage coming your way, which is still something that is in the game. I don't think it's gonna be that annoying to try to take down the Orisa, but I really don't think this is gonna make Orisa completely useless if you just learn to manage your cooldowns properly. If you're just using your Fortify whenever you feel like it, yeah, you're probably not gonna get the full value out of Orisa when trying to fight in a big team brawl. But after all these changes, they still have yet to give a super meaningful ult buff, and I know they buffed her ultimate, allowing her to pierce through shields a couple of weeks ago, but my god, her ultimate is still complete booty cheeks, dog. So until they give her a meaningful buff to her ultimate, I think she's still gonna be on the outskirts of S tier. But you know who was an S tier hero that is definitely no longer an S tier hero? Roadhog, because he got a whole encyclopedia worth of changes. And when you look at these Roadhog changes, they're actually gonna be very reminiscent of Roadhog back in the Overwatch 1 days. The chain hook, now the impact damage got drastically reduced from 30 to 5 damage whenever you hook somebody, and whenever you pull them to you, now instead of them being 3 meters away from you, they're now going to be 4 meters away from you. But if that wasn't enough nerfs for you, his scrap gun also got nerfed. The damage per pellet, now instead of it being 6.6 damage, it's now 6 damage per pellet, and considering how many pellets there are, that's a lot of damage reduction. The recovery time between shots got reduced by 0.05 seconds, so admittedly not a lot of time, but if you're shooting a bunch during the game, now you're not only getting less damage, but also getting less shots off. But trying to compensate for these two nerfs, he did get 2 buffs to his scrap gun, where the reload speed is a teensy weensy bit quicker, getting reduced from 2 seconds to now 1.75 seconds, and the maximum ammo that you have got increased from 5 total shots to now 6 shots. And while the buffs are nice, they're not going to do enough to try to maintain Roadhog's S tier status, which is kind of the whole point of these changes, is to bring down the power of Roadhog, because the reason why he was one of, if not the best tank to play at the beginning of Season 2 was due to the fact that he was able to just one-shot hook combo any single squishy hero. But now with these changes, he's not really going to have that powerful one-shot hook combo, because that's exactly what happened in Overwatch 1. They gave him more ammo to try to buff the power of scrap gun, and they nerfed the power of the hook, because that was the most frustrating part when going against Roadhog. But what happened after those changes was that he became one of, if not the worst tank to play in Overwatch 1. Not only due to the fact that he couldn't one-shot hook combo that frequently anymore, but because there was a popular counter on the enemy team that didn't really have a counter to her, which was an Ana anti-grenade. You have to be lucky if you had a Zarya on your team that could cleanse, and you rarely ever ran a Roadhog and Zarya in Overwatch 1. So I'll admit, these nerfs are pretty devastating to Roadhog. If you're a Roadhog main, you're not going to have a fun time with him in Overwatch 2, because he was not fun to play with in Overwatch 1 with these similar changes that he had. Similar stat lines, similar damage lines, similar everything. But I don't think he's going to be made to be this complete garbage hero, given that Kiriko is still a super powerful support hero that could cleanse the Ana anti-grenade away. But he's just going to be made to be kind of like an irrelevant hero, because, well, why are you playing Roadhog if you're just going to be an ult battery and if you're not securing the insta kills? Which, I mean, hey, a hog can still hook heroes, you just got to play around the hook. But that's not what made him so appealing. What made him appealing was that you could rely on yourself and yourself only to get the kills when your trash DPS couldn't. Speaking of trash DPS, Sojourn also got nerfed, which is very confusing because, well, Genji's still in the game, and if Genji exists, well, obviously we gotta nerf him. All jokes aside though, her railgun did get nerfed, where the energy gain no longer is based on the damage done by primary fire. Each primary fire hit against the enemy player now grants 5 energy per damage. So whereas beforehand you could get a headshot and get 10 damage to your railgun, now you just get a stagnant 5 damage whether you get a headshot or a body shot. And on top of that, the damage done by the projectile got reduced from 10 to 9. So overall, Sojourn is just doing a whole lot less damage and is a lot harder to cheese with. Which, at least in my experience, I've been starting to see a lot less Sojourns well before this patch, and I think the reason why I've been starting to see a lot less Sojourns is because, well, one, if you're not begging the support heroes to pocket you a Sojourn, I feel like there's a lot easier DPS heroes to play, Soldier being one of them, and plus, a big reason why people could just do so well with Sojourn beforehand was that it was just very easy to cheese her railgun. All you really had to do was shoot a Orisa or a Roadhog or a Reinhardt shield, and you could build up that charge fairly easily and keep that maintained while also being able to get a fairly easy railgun shot. Now they nerfed her primary damage and they nerfed her railgun shot. They just keep nerfing her damage slowly but surely to the point where, yeah, if you're good with Sojourn, you're still gonna be doing pretty well because that railgun headshot damage is very powerful, and if you have, like, say, a Discord kitten that could play Mercy and pocket you, then you're gonna be doing extremely well, which is the whole reason why a lot of people are begging for a Mercy nerf. Uh-oh, she didn't get nerfed. What? Yeah, the only support hero nerf that we got was to Kiriko, where her healing of food recovery time increased from 0.85 seconds to now 1 second, meaning that you're gonna be doing overall less heals over the span of a whole entire game. I don't think this is gonna affect Kiriko that much because she's still an excellent support hero to use and fairly simple at all levels to perform with, while also having a powerful toolkit. Something like the cleanse really checks and balances the Ana anti-grenade, where beforehand an Ana anti-grenade could really dictate a big team fight brawl if it's splashed on multiple targets, but now the Kiriko just easily cleanses, like, nope, we're just fighting normally now. But something that a lot of people are going to be wondering about, especially people from Twitter.com, is where the Mercy nerf is. And, well, obviously, she didn't get nerfed in this patch note. Now, the reason why people are calling for a Mercy nerf is that they're saying that her blue beam is a powerful aspect and a broken aspect about Mercy. Her rubber banding is also annoying, but it's really the blue beam on heroes like Sojourn and Widowmaker and these insta-kill heroes that can get an easier insta-kill on body shots on squishy heroes. Now, I want you guys to comment down below if you think Mercy does need some sort of nerf or rework or just something done to her blue beam. In my personal opinion, I mean, I'm kind of neutral about going against the Mercy. Yeah, it's frustrating to go against the rubber banding Mercy, but I just chalk that up to me being trash, not being able to hit her. But apparently this is a problem at all levels. But yeah, going against the blue beam hero like a Sojourn, a Widowmaker, and Ashe, yeah, that is pretty frustrating given the fact that if I don't have one where it's like, well, like, my damage is just getting mitigated because you're just instantly healing them back up, and I'm dying because you out-damaged me. But I don't know, man. I'm pretty neutral when it comes to Mercy right now, but I do know it is an issue that maybe next patch we will see maybe a nerf to her blue beam, or maybe we will see a cooldown increase to her Guardian Angel, or just something. But who's to know? Because when it comes to these patches, they're pretty infrequently and they're pretty insignificant, with the exception of this one, because that Roadhog nerf, ooh, we will have to see how that goes. But anyway, guys, I love you guys. Thank you guys for watching. More Overwatch 2 videos to come, and bye.